thanks. Like, hey, Scoob, did you hear Nikki Blake is hosting a Scooby-Doo panel? No. Yeah. Like on today's Scooby-Doo episode, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy meet Nikki Blake. Yeah, and a Scooby Panel. Like, we need to get this puppy started. Okay, Nikki Blake, take it away, Scooby-Doo.
Welcome to the Scooby Panel. I'm your host, Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com, and today we are talking about Scooby-Doo Origins. Before we begin, I'll have everyone introduce themselves, and Devin, we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Devin, and I am here live action in person. Because we're talking about live action.
Wendy.
Hi guys, I'm Wendy Bridge. I'm a commissioned artist, and I've been collecting Scooby for over 30 years.
Joel.
Hey there, I'm Joel from the YouTube channel Plant Scooby.
So we are discussing Scooby-Doo Origins, which is the live-action Netflix series that is coming out in 2027. We're going to start by talking about the plot, and I'm just going to read what I wrote. Scooby-Doo Origins is an upcoming live-action series that explores how the gang first met. During their final summer at Camp Ruby Spears, Shaggy and Daphne investigate a lost Great Dane puppy that may have witnessed a supernatural murder. They team up with Fred and Velma to solve the mystery, which threatens to expose all of their secrets. The special is created by Josh Applebaum and Scott Rosenberg and produced by Berlanti Productions for Netflix, and it is going to be an 8-episode series. What are your thoughts on the plot? Devin?
I mean, it's pretty vague for now. Do we want to discuss the thoughts on it being an origin or just the plot itself?
We can talk about it being an origin as well.
Okay. I don't love that it's an origin story again. We've discussed this before. They've done plenty of origin stories in Scooby-Doo, so you don't really need to explore that again. But at the same time, you kind of do in a new series because it's new iterations of the characters, so you kind of have to get into it that way. So it is what it is. I don't prefer an origin story. I'd rather just jump into it, but I get it. As far as the plot goes, it just depends on how they handle it, I think. Because it'd be like Scooby-Doo witnesses a supernatural murder. And it's like, okay, when they say murder, they're implying that the show is going to be definitely more adult, maybe a little bit darker. And I'm okay with that as long as I'll say I enjoyed Riverdale. It for the cheese factor of Riverdale, but I don't want them to go down that route where it's like, it's okay if it's dark and mature, but I don't want it to be like overly dramatic and like teen angsty. You know what I mean? Like I want it to be like lighthearted and fun Scooby-Doo, but like it can be a little bit darker. There is a murder. That's all fine and dandy as long as they don't go the dramatic route with it. I'm cool with it being at a summer camp. I think that's fun. I went to camp growing up. I live in the woods. I love that atmosphere. So I'm cool with that. But yeah, I'm down with what they're laying out to start with, as long as it's not too overly dramatic and like bogged down by like the character drama.
Yeah. Wendy, your thoughts on the plot and the origin story?
I mean, I do agree. I really would like to see something other than an origin at some point. Because number one, I mean, I know a lot of people are like, especially right now, they're super into the idea of like, well, I want to know where this character came from, and I want a backstory, and I want all of these things, which is very strange to me because I'm old enough that the time that I came from, and then also the fact that I did grow up with parents who wanted me to watch even more like older classic things like from the 50s and the 60s, where you just accepted, like, if there's a character that can fly, who cares why? It doesn't matter why. And you never really, I mean, at least for me, I never even considered like, well, why does Superman fly? It just never even occurred to me. Why can Scooby talk? I don't know. And I don't particularly care. So as far as I'm concerned, even though I don't always have nice things to say about this series, I think Pup Scooby is the perfect origin story for Scooby. It fits within my own personal timeline of classic Scooby, even though, yes, I have issues with certain things that they did. But that is a good enough origin for me. I like the idea that they were together from the time that they were quite small. And it just makes sense that by the time they get into high school, where we're watching them in Where Are You? And they're just like on the cusp of becoming young adults, they're not new friends. They're not just meeting each other. And it's not like, I mean, in this one, I think it says that, you know, Daphne and Shaggy are already friends and Fred and Velma are new. I don't know. Like, let's just get on with it. Scooby is a mystery story. So give me a mystery, like make the mystery the story. And I mean, again, there's a lot of speculation because there's not a lot of information, but I also feel like there have been enough shows created, especially like in the reboot or reimagining genre. At this point, I think we could call that its own genre. I think there's been enough of that lately in the last maybe 5 to 10 years that we can make pretty educated guesses on what's going to happen. Primarily for me, I don't want to see the Riverdale treatment. I gave up after one episode of that. I'm not saying that it was necessarily a crummy show for what it was like, I mean, if you're going to do that in a show, that's okay, but don't do it with those characters. So I don't want to see the Scooby characters dragged into that, like Devin said, like the angsty teen. And I mean, angsty teen in 2026 is also a lot different than angsty teen from like when I was a kid or earlier than that, which makes it even less appropriate for Scooby if that were to be the way that they were to take it. Speaking more to specifics, and again, this is all personal preference, and I am kind of nitpicking here, but everybody knows I'm a snob when it comes to Scooby. I don't really want anything new. I don't need anything new, and I don't like a lot of change in it because I don't think it needs it. Supernatural and murder. I'm not saying that can't make an awesome series, but again, for me, like right off the bat, that's not Scooby. Now, yes, I know we all loved Scooby Natural, but let's not forget that was Scooby guest starring in an episode of Supernatural, not the other way around. This feels like the other way around, where we're going to bring the Supernatural into Scooby, which again, not that is not going to make for good entertainment. I'm not saying that. But for me, that's not really Scooby. So I don't really love that. And the murder part of it, we're moving out of the realm of Scooby and into the realm of modern, just what is acceptable. I'm not saying it's not acceptable, but I take issue when they want to like put it into something like Scooby. So I am a little disappointed that already the most basic information, the most basic thing, the plot is kind of problematic for me just as a Scooby property. Again, I'm not saying that it's not going to be entertaining, but I'm disappointed because I would like to see somebody just be like, you know what? New mysteries. Let's just pick up where we left off. Even at the end of Where Are You? Even forget everything that came after it if you want to. Just pretend like we're picking up a series. It's like season 3 of Where Are You? And because I know they call Scooby-Doo show season 3 of Where Are You? It's not, because it's not the same show. I would like to see them do that if that was what they were going to do. I don't think that every series needs to be like the new people peeing on it to make it theirs. I don't think that we necessarily need that. There was one other detail in one of the synopses that I read. Let me see if I can find it here. It said, they set out to solve the case that's pulling them into a creepy nightmare that threatens to expose all their secrets. And I was like, they're teenagers. What secrets? Do we need to give the Scooby Gang secrets that they are concerned about having revealed? I mean, I have zero faith in Warner Brothers anymore. I wouldn't trust them to clean my toilet. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't. So I have zero faith in them. And my imagination for all of the horrible things that they could do with just that statement is like scaring the bejesus out of me. It's making me very nervous.
On that point, I agree. I think that that's dumb to include that. But I will say, as an avid lover of horror movies and watcher of new horror movies, plenty, a lot of the time the descriptions for newer horror movies always say like, blah, 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 here's what's happening, people are doing this, and like along the way, all of their secrets are going to get revealed. That's in like every like description of every movie. And then you watch the movie and I'm like, not really. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really important to the plot. So like,
Right.
I'm hoping that that's just something they're throwing in there to entice people, where they're like,
Yeah.
ooh, you're going to find out all the
Mhm.
dirt on the Scooby gang.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it won't really matter.
Yeah. Let's hope if there has to be a secret, it's like, oh my God, Daphne has a stash of candy next to the bed and eats candies. I don't know, whatever.
Fred
Maybe
smokes a pack a day, you know.
I hope not, but you know, yeah, there's definitely worse things than that. Although my last point on plot has to do with Fred. Why does Fred got to be strange? They called him strange. He's the strange new kid. Have we not molested Freddie enough? Of all, I mean, everybody here went to high school. Everybody listening probably went to high school. Guys like Fred are very rare. Smart, athletic, but not a does not treat other people trashy, is just a nice guy. That is very difficult to find. Can we leave Freddie alone? Can we just let him be the amazing man that he is? Do we have to make him strange? And again, like as to what Devin just said about how they like to tease things and then it doesn't really come to fruition. It's more of just like a like gotcha, come watch it. But again, I don't trust them because I know what they've done to Fred in the past. So I don't like making Fred strange. I don't like it.
I think I mean, this is all speculation based on like one sentence that they've said about the show. I bet, because it says that Shaggy and Daphne are old friends, right? And they're like working at the summer camp. Velma is scientific townie. So that means she's from there. She's from there. Shaggy and Daphne probably know of her. Maybe they're not friends, but they know her. And Freddie is the strange but handsome new kid. So I'm assuming they're saying that he's strange because they're going to probably imply that he has something to do with the murder along the way because he's the only one that's new to town. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, what's Fred's deal? He's new and maybe he killed somebody or something. I don't know. That's my prediction, is that's why he's strange.
Yeah, that definitely could be. Yeah. I will say though, as a final thought on the plot, I do like the idea of like a summer camp. I think that is like a visually pleasing, you know, like woods, cabins, like that kind of outdoorsy feel, I think does lend itself well to Scooby and does sort of leave like where you don't need a lot of set work or CGI for your backgrounds, but you can also do a lot of things within that generalized setting. So I do think that is kind of a fun place for them to be solving this mystery with like a lot of hopefully visual appeal and just, I don't know, summer camp definitely has that. It has like a spirit to it that does kind of evoke the horror thing, which again, it's not that I'm against that, but like, let's just keep it appropriate to like Scooby horror and not everything else.
I'm glad they're not at like school or something. Like, I feel like that's
agreed.
played out enough. I'm glad it is like in the woods. I feel like that's more. Also, summer camp, a good place because like mysterious people are coming and going. Everybody's kind of getting to know each other from different areas or whatever. You know what I mean? So like whoever the mystery is revolving around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I do think summer camp was a good place to have this series, especially if they plan on continuing the series, because starting at summer camp, I feel like is a good starting point, and then they can branch out from there. Joel, your thoughts on the plot and it being an origin story?
I was liking the summer camp thing, and then I thought just now, so my thoughts aren't fully formed. Like I was kind of hoping we'd get like a monster of a week.
Hmm.
And then I imagine like one big finale leading up to the like episode 8 would be like the reveal of the grand monster. But summer camp, you're kind of limited with monsters, right? Like there's lots of ghost stories and such, but I don't think they could do 8 monsters a week, which kind of worries me because now I'm thinking they're gonna do like the drama thing.
Yeah.
And I don't really want the drama thing. And I'm speculating here. I don't think it's gonna be like Riverdale. I think it's Riverdale's kind of passe now, and I think they're gonna maybe capitalize on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're gonna be as like Wednesday's very Tim Burton-esque, and I don't think they're gonna go in that kind of direction. I don't really have much to add. I'm guessing the origin thing is so they could like they're expecting probably several seasons, and if they start them young, we can grow up with these characters. Puppy Scooby too, they'll probably swap out. Great Danes only live like 7 years. There's like 3 years now in between seasons, so the dog might only have like 2 seasons, unfortunately. But that went dark. But I guess yeah, just so we can kind of grow up with these kids if it's successful. And I guess too, they don't know. Like I imagine this doesn't have like the biggest budget, so summer camp's kind of perfect for that. Cheaper budget. Maybe season 2 will get a bigger budget, and I don't know. I don't know. I kind of wanted to go into a blind too, which we kind of are. We don't know which direction's going to go. I'll shut up now. Oh, one last thing. Devin forgot to mention he went to the same camp as Chris Farley.
That is true. The summer camp I went to, it was a 7-week-long summer camp. I went for 5 years. Chris Farley did go there, and he was a counselor there. Yes, yes.
But not at the same time.
No, he had passed by that point. Yeah.
But you found his carving in like the
They did. Yeah, there's some carvings on the walls next to the bunk beds. You're not supposed to carve on the walls, but everybody kind of does. There's some trophies in there from the football stuff with his name on it. There's some pictures of him doing like cabin stunt night and stuff. And there, I don't know if you know what that means. Like you do a little play and stuff. Yeah, it's whatever. It's a good time. It was cool. It's cool. Look up some pictures. Chris Farley, Red Arrow Camp. Look it up.
Okay. I am excited about this because I want it to be good, but also with things being canceled and the way that Velma went, I'm also very hesitant. So I'm just kind of neutral at this point, I think, because I don't want to be too excited in case it doesn't happen for some reason or it's not great, but I don't want to not be excited at all because it could be great. So I'm just kind of in the middle at the moment. I'm not thrilled about it being an origin story because I do agree that we have way too many origin stories and we don't need any more. I think they should have done something a little bit different. I would love to see them do something where they're after high school.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, because I mean, these actors are a little bit older, so they could probably pull something like that off. But the origin story, I think it's played out. We've gotten too many origin stories and they need to do something different.
What do you guys think? Joel brought this up about the Monster of the Week thing. Do you think they're going to do that? Because like Mystery Incorporated did that, where it had the overarching plot, and then they did the Monster of the Week thing. Do you think they're going to try to do that, or it's going to be just a full like 8 episodes solving the one mystery? Because if that's the case, I mean, I didn't think about this ahead of time, but like if that's kind of what I expected to happen, is that it would be just one mystery over the course of the season. But now talking about it, I'm like, well, that's a little bit disappointing because that's the fun of Scooby is the different person every episode. So, yeah.
I think it's gonna be one like villain, so to speak, but I think that each episode is going to lead them to a new suspect. So I think we're going to get different suspects throughout it, but it'll only lead to one villain.
Do you think there will be more than one murder? Or will it be an every episode thing? Or is just the first episode where Scooby witnesses a murder the only thing?
I would think it would just be the first one. I think they're going to do a lot more with the whole like dramatic effect with, you know, stuff with the gang in this, and maybe even relationship type stuff in this. And it's, yeah, I won't get into my thoughts on that, but yeah. Wendy, what do you think?
Yeah. At no point did I even consider the possibility that this could be a procedural as opposed to a serial series, which is extremely disappointing because people today, for whatever reason, have kind of gotten this hate on for procedurals. They're like, oh, that's old people shows. And they point to like NCIS and things like that, which is essentially like, I mean, it's not monsters in that, but it is like a monster of the week. Like it's every episode is a standalone episode and you can pick up and watch it wherever you want. And I mean, that used to be what everything was, or the majority of shows anyway, back, you know, classic shows are all like that. And we have gone so far away from that now, which is very disappointing because I much prefer like one episode. I can watch whatever episode I want. It increases the rewatchability factor. I mean, my gosh, like let's not even try to count how many times I've rewatched Twilight Zone and Leave It to Beaver and any of those, Bonanza, my gosh, over and over and over again. And I don't need like 8 episodes to tell me a story. You can tell me a story in like 1 hour or a half hour or whatever it is. Scooby could tell us a story in a half an hour. Twilight Zone could do it. But that is disappointing because I think that the best, if they're gonna make a new Scooby, the best thing to do would be to go back to the monster of the week setting where there is no like overarching story. Like just let it be. They're the story. And each time, each episode, they're doing something different. I think that would have been a better way to go, but definitely that's not like in vogue right now with people, which is kind of strange because people are preferring like the long drawn out storyline at a time where they're also complaining that they have no attention span. And those two things conflict for me. I don't understand how it can be both of those things, but yeah, I've been watching Widow's Bay. It's taking way too long to get to the point. And it's only like 8 episodes or 10 episodes or something, like, and
No
it's just
spoilers.
taking forever. No, but it's, you know, I feel like it's okay for us to go back to like condensing a story to just 1 episode and then make a bunch of stories. And I feel like the way that they're doing it now, and if this is going to be a straight serial, you got to watch the episodes in order. They are just like one continuous storyline. In my opinion, that's kind of lazy writing, especially when you want to make seasons that are only 8 episodes long.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, actually. First of all, Widow's Bay, is that what it's called? Joel
Yes.
just recommended this to me the other day, and so I need to watch it. But it's funny that you bring this up because me and Tasha were just talking like yesterday. I think it was literally yesterday. And we just finished watching Yellow Jackets. Do you guys know of this show,
Okay.
Yellow Jackets, at all? And we're watching it. It's, you know, episode. It's this whole story. They've got 3 seasons out now or whatever. There's like 10 episodes a season or whatever. And like, I enjoyed it. I'm having a good time. They're doing a 4th season right now. But like, the story gets dragged on so long, hour-long episodes every time. And I'm like, just please get to the point. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having fun, but I'm taking a little bit long. And we were sitting there and we finished like the season finale or whatever, the 3rd season. And I was like, I feel like the world needs like sitcoms back, because like you could just sit down and like, even though there is like a story, you know, throughout the thing, it's like you can kind of just like turn on whatever and they're like 30 minutes and it's just kind of like not really like that serious if you watch it out of order. And like, I don't want to sit down to watch something that takes 3 years between each season and it's like, and I don't even remember what's going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think we need to get back to that where it's like, that's what I wanted to see from the series, honestly, was like Monster of the Week. They're already established. We don't need the origins. We all know what Scooby-Doo is. We've heard of it before. It's been around for a while. You know what I mean? Like, just give us the monster every week. But I am optimistic and I am looking forward to it, but I do wish that they went that route with it.
Joel, do you have anything to add?
Uh, yeah, I think with the 8 episodes, it's not going to be Monster of the Week, unfortunately. They're going to do the overarching plot, but then again, uh, the stuff you brought up today, Wendy, it's in Maine, so maybe it's going to have like a coastal
Hmm.
Maine theme, like Widow's Bay kind of has.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to the Maine vibe because, like, I mean, like, I don't know, like Stephen King, all his stuff takes place in Maine. It's not Maine, but like it's kind of that coastal. Like, I Know What You Did Last Summer has that coastal aesthetic, and so like I'm not against that for Scooby Doo. I feel like that would be like a fun, nice setting to take place in. So I'm interested to see how they do that.
Before we talk about those pictures, I want to talk about the cast. And we're only going to focus on the main cast. So McKenna Grace as Daphne, she played young Daphne in Scoob, so she's already been a part of the Scooby-Doo franchise. Tanner Hagen as Shaggy, Abby Ryder Fortson as Velma, Maxwell Jenkins as Fred, Frank Welker will be voicing Scooby, and this is the first time that Scooby will be a live-action dog. The only thing that I wanted to mention other than the main cast is that Paul Walter Hauser is the owner of Scooby-Doo. So the gang doesn't own Scooby, or Shaggy doesn't own Scooby. He has a different owner. What are your thoughts on the cast? And what are your thoughts on Scooby being a live action dog? Joel?
I'm fine with the cast. I think the owner is going to get murdered. That's what Scooby witnesses.
Yep, same thing I was thinking.
Yeah. I only know Daphne from Scream 7, Ghostbusters, Scoob, I guess. Devin could tell me other movies I've seen her in probably.
Five Nights at
She's
Freddy's
in,
too.
she's in like everything. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah. She's in like everything. So I know her. The other cast, I got nothing against the cast. Like, I'm sure they're all great, fine. People are complaining that they didn't look like them just yet. And I'm like, well, they're not in their outfits yet. Let's see. I don't think they'll mess up the cast. I don't have a lot to say about Scooby being a puppy and who they cast. I know Wendy has more to say about this than I do. It was a cute dog. That's all I gotta say. I like cute dogs. I was happy with it. I'm glad they're going with maybe a real dog. I hope it doesn't necessarily talk like Scooby. I'd rather talk more like a dog would. I hope they go in that direction because I don't think it'll work if it could surprise me, but I don't think it would work if it's Frank Welker doing the Scooby voice for it that he does now.
But do you think it would work if he did more of a puppy voice? Because we haven't heard Scooby with a puppy voice. Like in Scoob, they just
Yeah,
did the regular voice.
I think puppy dog noises, not puppy speaking voices.
Do you think it's worth hiring Frank Welker? Obviously, he's a part of the franchise, and he does great like animal noises. But like,
Yeah,
I can't imagine the price for Frank Welker is cheap. But I can understand wanting to keep him in the franchise and stuff too. But like, if he's not doing a Scooby voice, he's just doing a dog voice. Do you think that they would go that route to hire
no,
him?
no, this is just on my wish list.
Okay.
I don't know who else they would cast as Scooby. And I guess it depends on what way they're gonna take it. If they are going to do Scooby's voice versus a puppy voice versus just more of a dog, he does really good animal voices. So I do feel like no matter what way they take Scooby, he was probably the best person to cast because he can do so many different things. And maybe he'll also be involved in some of the other like stuff with the villain or something if they need
Sure.
some voice
Yeah.
work for that.
Additional.
Yeah.
Let me ask this. If they make Scooby talk, let's say they're making Scooby talk, how would you prefer they go about that? Do you want it to be like early 2000s where they just animate the live action like dog mouth talking? Is it like Scooby's thoughts? Do you like what do you think's the best way to go about having Scooby talk?
I picture it being like Garfield. And I had mentioned that to somebody else. I want to say Jordan. I think Jordan and I, or maybe Bradford and I were talking about it. And I had mentioned them possibly like more of a thinking and it, coming across more like Garfield than Scooby-Doo. But I don't know. Honestly, I'm not really sure how they can make it work with a real puppy. But that puppy is adorable. Like I saw him and I just wanted to hug him. So I'm all for the puppy. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work in Scooby-Doo. I imagine them using a lot of AI to get the puppy to do what they want him to do, to get him to move his mouth so that he can talk. I feel like that is where we're going to see a lot of AI.
I feel like that Scooby specifically is where the show changes course. Like if they make him talk, then they're sticking to like the more goofy cartoony stuff. You know what I mean? But if they don't, they're going more straightforward with the series and like keeping it grounded. And I want them to go a little more cartoony. I want it to be like I'm okay with like a serious tone while still having like cartoony type physics. Like is Shaggy going to eat a bunch of food or is he just going to be like no, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm curious how they're going to go about that.
Wendy or Joel, do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I'm waiting for Joel.
Yeah, let Wendy go last. I know she's gonna have a bunch to say on this.
I don't have a bunch to say. I see everyone's viewpoint. Yeah, it depends what direction. Are they going to do goofy? I don't know. The Garfield thing kind of could work for me, maybe if it's like thoughts. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I worry about the AI voiced, or AI not voiced, but AI motion over effects of Scooby talking, which is probably why I prefer animal noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine them not having him talk. And I also think that there's going to have to be a lot of CGI or AI work done. I mean, I kind of feel like they already have done that. Now, obviously, I can't prove this. This is my own speculation, but there was a lot of argument online as to whether or not that puppy in the photo and the clip was actually a Great Dane puppy because it looks very much like a type of Labrador. And some people were getting awfully angry about like, oh, look up Great Dane puppies. Well, okay, number one, you can have quite a variation in what puppies look like, even within one breed. I will say that when I was a kid, I was completely dog obsessed. I got Dog Fancy magazine every single month for like 3 years. I, at like 8 years old, knew what all the breeds were. I mean, Westminster Kennel Club dog show. Yeah, me sitting in front of the TV for like 2 days straight. Obsessed with it. Obsessed with Great Danes. My love of Great Danes precedes Scooby-Doo. I would believe it's a Great Dane puppy, but my goodness, I think you could have chosen one that looked a little bit more. I mean, the jowls are awfully small for a Great Dane puppy. And I think that they could have found a better looking one. Controversial. I don't know if anybody else cares about this, but this is something that like I understand, but also just make it CG then. Obviously, if people don't already know this, Great Danes are not born with pointy ears. You have to crop their ears, which is a medical procedure where you snip, snip, snip them and it makes them stand up. So, I mean, yes, you're disfiguring the dog. Yeah, okay. I understand that. It is strictly a cosmetic thing. The dog does not need it. It actually can cause problems for the dog. I understand that. But it is Scooby-Doo, and Scooby-Doo does not have floppy ears. So I don't know if this was like a PETA thing where people did not want to get criticized by certain organizations or certain people for disfiguring a puppy. But I mean, there are plenty of Great Dane puppies getting their ears cropped all across the globe every single day, I'm sure. I wish that they would have found one that already had its ears cropped, because the look, like, to me, those ears, no matter what the dog is, that is a selling point for me. I don't find dogs that have floppy ears to be cute or attractive most of the time. I like the pointy ears. That's part of why I love Scooby. He doesn't look like Scooby to me at all. Also, though, Great Dane puppies do not come in that color. Great Danes are not that color. So already either they've added some kind of makeup to the dog as like a practical effect, or they have used some CG to change its color. Because Great Danes are not that color. They simply do not come in that color. And again, I'm kind of like, I'm what I am anxious to see in this series is, why was the real dog necessary? Or like, what is the benefit of the real dog? Given how I'm imagining this playing out, I want to see what was the vision to make it real, especially if it's mostly not, if that makes sense. If they're having to like change the color of it and its ears are wrong and I'm sorry, it's a girl. It's a girl. You could have easily avoided a problem, which makes me think they posted that picture on purpose, with it being visibly a female dog, simply to incite the fans for either good or for the negative. I think they did it on purpose. But yeah, we don't need to be like, bad enough all the gender bending that we do with other characters. That's not necessary. We don't need to emasculate Scooby. Okay? We just don't.
So Wendy's got her tinfoil hat on, and as we discussed previously, they don't got to show Scooby Dong in order to prove that it's a dog. It just it's okay. I was gonna say something, and I wish I remembered what it was. Yeah. I had a couple things actually. I feel like this is all just speculation again. Because you were wondering why they're using a live action puppy. And I feel like the reason to use live action has got to be, like I was talking about a minute ago, to ground the show in reality, I assume. Also, it could be maybe if they don't make it talk, like if they just do puppy noises like a normal dog, it's probably way cheaper than a CGI budget every episode to animate Scooby doing stuff. Because like the Cartoon Network movies, we reviewed those, like Scooby looks like crap in those because it's got a low budget and like it doesn't look good. I'm sorry, doesn't look good. And so like you don't want to have that on this like new Netflix show. There's higher standards now. People are going to be like, that looks like crap, and that's all people are going to talk about. They're not going to talk about the show if Scooby looks bad. So I feel like that's why they went for the real dog, just to be like, it's a real dog, even though people are complaining about that obviously as well. And I feel like it's hard to like to have us imagine that puppy is Scooby, because we've never seen him live action before. This is the first time. And he's not a full-grown Great Dane. He is just a puppy, which we're used to full-grown Scooby. And also, Scooby was purposely animated to look a little bit more goofy. You know what I mean? Like, he's more floppy and, like, he's Scooby. So, like, a real dog doesn't look like that exactly either. So it's hard to get that look live action. Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking they're going to end up using a lot of AI to like change the puppy to make him look more like Scooby would have looked when he was a puppy.
Maybe. I wish that, like, given what I said earlier about how I feel like it, to me, the shorter seasons with just one storyline running throughout the episodes is kind of like lazy writing compared to, like, I mean, Bonanza used to make like 35 episodes plus per season. And every episode was like an hour long, and it was like a standalone, like it was its own contained story. I wish that because I just don't obviously I don't know for sure that they're not going to do this, but I doubt that they're going to do this. I wish that if we were going to have a real dog being Scooby, I wish that they would have gone the practical way of, there's a movie, I think it's from 1966, and I loved it when I was a kid. It's called The Ugly Dachshund. And it is about a guy and his wife that own dachshunds, and they get a Great Dane, and the Great Dane thinks it's a dachshund. And it's hilarious. And the dog is very, very Scooby because he's goofy. He's doing all these silly things because he thinks he's this tiny little dog and he's enormous. And he was a beautiful Great Dane as well. And he is the way that I have always imagined Scooby as a real dog. Fawn-colored Great Dane with the cropped ears, the dark muzzle, you know, that nice tan coat. I've always thought of him as Scooby. I wish that they would either do that where like he didn't talk at all and we just have the dog doing things. I think that that would work. I personally don't really need Scooby to talk in this kind of a setting, or give him the Mr. Ed treatment. They made a horse talk, put peanut butter in his mouth, did all kinds of little things. Like, do that with the dog. If you can teach the horse to do it, surely you can do it with the dog. Like, I wish that if you're going to go practical, go practical. Don't try to recolor him. Don't try to, CGI his mouth or anything. Go whole hog, commit to it. Give us something classic and practical and just like go for it. That would make me happy. In spite of, even if it happened to be like a poorly written show, that would make me happy to see them trying that with a dog, making it like a Mr. Ed situation where, yeah, the dog's mouth is literally moving. Frank's voice is coming out of him. That's fine. I don't mind that. But I doubt very much that that's what's going to happen. I can't imagine them going to that much trouble when we have computers and things like that. And they could just go the Garfield, like Nikki said, the Garfield route where he's talking, but his mouth is not necessarily moving. As for the rest of the cast, though, I have only one thing to say about that, because I am certainly, I might be quick to like badmouth new series just on principle because of who is making it. I am not about to do that with a bunch of young actors who are just getting started and have done absolutely nothing to elicit a negative response from me. I thought they all looked fine in the parts. I had absolutely no issue with how they looked. And for me, the most important thing was that they're excited. There's like an interview with McKenna, and she's so excited to be doing this. And I'm like, that is what is the most important thing when it comes to taking an established property and doing something to it, making it new. Because I feel like what has failed Scooby in the past is people taking over who did not care about him. And we're not going to talk about that tonight, but I can cite numerous people that took over making a Scooby show who did not give two Fs about it. And so they were only too happy to recreate it in their own perverted, twisted little image. The fact that these kids are excited to do this, to play these roles, tells me that they are going to do their utmost best to pay tribute to the property itself. And so as far as they're concerned, I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm excited to see who from the past iterations of Scooby they each decide to like channel for their character. I'm happy that they're happy, because that means that regardless of what is written, they're going to do a good job, and you should love what you're doing. If you don't love the property, you shouldn't be working on the show. If you're not a fan of it, you shouldn't be on it. So I'm sure that all the kids will do a good job. I think they look good. And yeah, to be honest, like my main thing is like, it's bothering me that puppy doesn't have pointed ears. That's sort of like my main problem right now.
He's so cute though.
Is he though?
He is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
He's adorable.
Yes.
Devin, your thoughts on the cast?
I think the puppy's adorable. It is weird seeing him because I didn't know what a Great Dane puppy even looked like, to be honest. He does look like a chocolate lab. I had a chocolate lab growing up. His name was Banjo. I have a Banjo next to me. My parents bought me that for Christmas because we also got Banjo the same year. I named him Banjo. Anyway, what was the question?
Your thoughts on the cast?
Oh yes, I like the puppy. The cast. I'm actually very pleased with the cast. I don't know anybody besides McKenna Grace. I think that's the same for most people. That are new, that are, yeah. Not to discredit them. I'm sure that they've all been in things. Most people I don't think are aware of those things yet, but I'm sure they will be going back after the show premieres and they, they get their flowers. I think they all look the part. I think they all look like the right age. Because there's been some casting in the past I don't agree with necessarily. Sorry, Robbie and Mel. That doesn't necessarily look like Fred. You know what I mean? But like this guy, what was his name? Maxwell
Jenkins?
Maxwell Jenkins. Love that name. He looks like Fred. You know what I mean? Like I think that everybody looks really good, and I wore this white shirt on purpose. This is no disrespect, but also disrespect. If you're listening to this and you're one of these people, when they first posted the cast photo, everybody's wearing a white shirt, and they're like, "This looks nothing like Mystery Inc. They're all wearing white T-shirts." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just a cast photo. They're not in costume yet." And the amount of times I saw that comment where they're like, "I hope they put them in their costumes," and it's like, well, yeah, no, duh. Of course they're gonna. Like, this is like the first day on set. They're probably all together. They're like, "Let's get a photo and post it." Like, they're not gonna be wearing all just white T-shirts the entire time. So, like, if you thought that, you're dumb. Sorry. No, I think the cast looks great. I'm very excited. I think that the person that has the most weight on their shoulders is probably Shaggy's actor. His name was Tanner, right? Yeah, Tanner. Because that's a big role to fill. I feel like Velma, Daphne, Fred have been like, they fluctuate throughout the series, you know what I mean? But Shaggy is a very iconic character and kind of the main character of the franchise, so I think he has a big role to fill. But I think that I haven't seen him act yet, but I think he looks the part. I'm happy with that. And yeah, Scooby's cute. And did I have any other thoughts on? You know what? I just convinced myself. I think they are going to make Scooby-Doo talk. Because I just looked down at my little notes here on the synopsis and stuff. Lonely lost Great Dane puppy who may have wow, I can't even read my own handwriting. May have witnessed a supernatural murder. If he witnessed a supernatural murder, which I'm assuming that, like we talked about earlier, the owner of Scooby-Doo is the one who probably dies via this supernatural murder. I'm assuming in the opening episode or whatever. If Scooby is the only one to witness this murder, he's got to talk to the gang or Shaggy or whoever about what he saw, right? Because how would Scooby help them besides knowing what happened? I guess he could sniff around or something. He's a dog. But like, how is he going to give them any clues if he doesn't know, if he can't talk? You know what I mean? If he knows what happened, he doesn't talk about it. I don't know. I don't know.
That does make sense, because how would they know that he witnessed a supernatural murder if he doesn't tell them?
Exactly. So he is going to talk. Confirmed.
Like, I would just argue a little bit. Joel, back me up. Littlest hobo couldn't talk. And the littlest hobo could do anything. And he could communicate with people, and he could save people. I mean, he's toting a gun in the opening credits. Okay? So it is possible. There are dogs in existence, fictional or real, up to you, who would be able to communicate something like that without being able to talk.
Do you think they're gonna like CGI Scooby-Doo to like imitate monsters and stuff, where he's all like pretending he's like doing some faces and stuff?
I hope not.
I think this is more grounded than that, but also I think they might make him talk. I don't know. It's all up in the air. No one knows.
I do like the cast. I only also know McKenna Grace, and I thought that she was great as Daphne. And I was kind of hoping that they would pick the other kids from Scoob to voice the rest of the gang, because I just thought that that would be kind of cool if they did that. But they didn't, and I don't know any of the other people. So I'm just going to assume that they're all going to be good. And in the pictures that they're posting and interviews that McKenna Grace is doing, they seem to be having a great time. So there's that, and that's a good thing. And Scooby is adorable. I'm gonna keep saying it, and Wendy's gonna keep making that face, but he's so cute.
Yes. I hope that they I'm assuming they're gonna, but I hope that they stick to the gang's like color palettes throughout their different outfits and stuff throughout the series. I hope they don't like change that too much. They might if Shaggy and Daphne work at the summer camp and they have like uniforms or something. I could see that being the exception, but I do hope that they keep the color palette because I think that matters, right? I feel like that definitely matters. Even if this is real life and not everybody wears the same color every single day, I think that like it's a show. And like you said earlier, you don't question why Superman flies or whatever. They just wear those colors, you know. I really hope they stick to that. So
We've talked about their outfits and their colors before, and the colors are iconic. You know that it's them. They don't even have to be wearing the actual outfit, but just wearing the color. You know that it's supposed to be Daphne or Velma or Fred or Shaggy. So I think if they didn't use the colors, that would just, it would be lacking quite a lot.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you think that they could have gotten away with doing an animated Scooby-Doo, like kind of a Space Jam type thing where the rest of the gang is live action and Scooby is animated?
I think they could have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. Um, sorry, you set me up. I think, yeah. I mean, the other live action movies did it, so like, I have nothing against it. Not that Scooby looks like amazing or anything in the movies, but like, it doesn't take away from the world that they live in that Scooby is not a real dog, for me at least.
I think that I would argue this. I think that a fully animated Scooby would only be successful if the show had a very strong humor slant. If the show and I like based on nothing, I am not imagining this show having like a super like a funny. I'm sure that there will be humor in it, but I am definitely imagining this as being very like played straight, not a lot of humor apart from maybe a couple little gag moments between like maybe Scooby and Shaggy or something like that, or Scooby like pulling something. Because I like the idea of it, but I just feel like that animated portion just automatically sets it into this category of like comedy, funny, even if there's things going on that are spooky and stuff. It's like the animation would like just take you out of what I think is the world that they're trying to create, like a very serious, grounded, real life, scary kind of thing. You know, I don't know how else to describe that, but I feel like it wouldn't work in if that's the world they're creating. I don't think an animated Scooby would actually work in that.
Have they not specified the exact tone of the show yet? Because that's what matters the most on all of this.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Joel, do you think Scooby could be animated?
I think so. I have a couple thoughts now, thinking more and more about it, which will play into this. So Scooby's a puppy, and you can't really train a puppy very well. So now I'm thinking either a lot of AI going on, or they're just not going to have much of Scooby in there. Because it's going to take 4 times longer for a puppy to do a scene than a trained dog would, right? Probably longer. Maybe they have multiple puppies too. Like when they filmed Cujo, they had 6 Cujos, like a Cujo for each kind of scene that was going on. But yeah, puppies, I don't know how smart Great Danes are, like, but they're not like poodle level smart, right? Or Border Collie level smart, or so I don't know how trainable Great Danes are. My neighbors have Great Danes, and those dogs just are Marmadukes. They just run amok.
Yeah.
So that could be more on the owners, or it could be more on the breed, or a bit of both. I don't know. But I think now we know Scooby's a puppy. He's probably not going to be in it much comparatively. So if we wanted more Scooby, I think they would have to go the animation route.
You make a good point that Scooby himself might not actually be in it that much.
But he's the witness to the supernatural murder. Like, he's their prime. I was gonna say suspect. What's the opposite of the suspect? Witness. He's the prime witness.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the whole show itself, but especially Scooby. I think I'm most interested to see where they're going to take Scooby as the character.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wendy, you found pictures today that you sent us. I can't remember the girl's name. Hopefully you remember it.
I'll just pull it up real quick. Yeah, actually, Scott found this on Facebook and sent it to me, and I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. So this lady was, I think, vacationing and came across like where they were filming the show. So she is, let me see, Anissa Dobzniacki. And she went to Rutledge, Georgia, which was transformed into downtown Nittingham, Maine, for the Netflix show Scooby-Doo Origins, codenamed Talbot Pines. And she shared some nice pictures of, you know, bits and pieces of the set and stuff. And yeah, I think it gave us another little taste of what we could maybe expect from it. Another little, I think, name Easter egg. There's Magnus. Magnus is the name of the place, I think.
Magnus County, I think, is what it was.
Yeah. And I'm just curious, like maybe it's just a coincidence, but I mean, Mr. Magnus was the guy who was Redbeard's ghost in Where Are You, I think. So yeah.
I could see that because like the camp is called Ruby Spears, you said, right? Is that what the camp is called?
Yeah.
That makes sense too. Is Nittingham a thing? That's interesting. It's a whole new place.
I wasn't sure.
It's from Pup Named Scooby-Doo, right? Didn't they get him at Nittingham Puppy Farm?
Oh, I think you're right.
Is that right? And does a pup named Scooby-Doo take place somewhere else? I don't know why I want to say Ohio. I don't know why I want to say that.
You might be right. I remember like Ohio associated with
or maybe that's where Coolsville is supposed to be.
Yeah. I don't know. Didn't the two recent ones we reviewed, like Scooby-Doo 3-4, take place in Ohio?
I think so. That might be it. Yeah.
Did Daphne and Velma take place in Ohio?
I don't know.
I'm not sure about that. But yeah, no, Nikki's right. Nittingham Puppy Farm is a farm in the city of Coolsville, owned by Mrs. Nittingham, in which Scooby-Doo's brothers, Howdy Doo and Skippy Doo, and his sister Ruby Doo were born. His mom and dad also lived on the farm with Mrs. Nittingham and later moved back to Douville.
Okay.
So yeah,
I do really appreciate that they're diving deeper than just the surface level of things that fans know about Scooby-Doo. That's appreciated, which gives me hope that they're going to do that more throughout the series. If you were confused earlier why we were talking about Maine, that's why we were talking about Maine being the location, because of these photos and these behind-the-scenes set photos. In the photos, I said photos like 3 times, now 4 times in the last sentence. I need to stop saying that. Photos. There were some photos of the streets, and it had a really nice look because it wasn't any of the camp. It was like the downtown, and there was like an antique store, and I'm not sure what the building was. I didn't fully read the sign, but they had like that Americana red, white, and blue like little banners in the window, and I was like, this feels like nice coastal small town energy, and I'm excited to see that on screen. I hope that they give it like a nice warm feeling almost, you know what I mean? Because Riverdale's very like dark and blue and cold, and I hope this has like a nice warm summery atmosphere. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the things that they put into it. You know, all the little Easter eggs that they're going to put in it, all the references, and that's the kind of stuff that I like looking for. And I hope they do a lot of it, because this would be a good chance for them to do something really good, considering the last thing we got was Velma.
Right. Definitely.
I hope if they go the route of it's one mystery throughout the entire series, or at least the season, or whatever it is, and they don't do the Monster of the Week thing, I hope like we get like a tease of a Monster of the Week thing where there's like maybe somebody dressed up and they think it's something for a minute or something. You know what I mean? Just like I hope we get a dude in a mask for like a minute. You know, it's just something. Just. It could be like a campfire story. Like they're at camp. Joel, you brought this up. If they did the Monster of the Week, what could they do at camp? Bigfoot, ghosts, swamp monster from the lake, other camp stuff, campfire ghost, axe murderer. You know, those things.
Yep.
Things. Yeah. And that's my yep. Next.
There's a lot they could do, that's for sure. What are your final thoughts on Scooby-Doo Origins, Devin?
I hate the name. I know it's an origin series, but I don't like that it's called Scooby-Doo Origins because it sounds like it's some like Marvel superhero thing, kind of, you know what I mean? And I don't love that. I kind of wish they would have called it something else. That's just a little nitpick, I guess. It's not a very exciting name, you know what I mean?
I think with the name, it's Scooby-Doo Origins, it makes it seem like the whole thing is going to be about their origin story.
But do you think that that is part of what that tease about their secrets? Maybe that's why it's called Origins, because it is going to have more to do with each of them and something to do with like their essence as characters. Because that is a very generic name for the series and not very Scooby-Doo specific. And the fact that they pluralized it as well maybe was not an accident.
For all I know, we could get a thing. You said it's 8 episodes.
Yeah.
I feel like you never know how they're going to go about this. I'm not saying I hope they do. This is just a thought. But like they could do a thing where the inciting incident takes place, right? And we get that in the first episode. And then we do like a from each character's perspective, each episode of what happened, and then a wrap up at the end type of situation maybe could be something they could do. I don't know if I'd like that necessarily but that would make it like 8 episodes worth of one simpler mystery. Yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, I guess my final thoughts, I am very excited for it. I'm very curious to see what they do, only because I like the live action movies, you know what I mean? So I'm totally not against the live action TV show here. I hope they don't drag out the mystery too much because that does get a little annoying, like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, we don't have a lot to go off of, but I think the cast looks good. I think the set from like what we've seen just a little bit. I like the setting of it. I like the summer camp. I like Maine. I'm curious to see what they do with Scooby, and yeah, I'm trying to. My expectations are tempered. I don't want to be too excited, but I'm rooting for it, hoping it does a good job, and we get at least 3 to 4 seasons is what I imagine, probably max out of it.
Yeah.
Wendy, your final thoughts?
I will admit that since we have discussed this in the last like 2 hours, I'm more optimistic about it and I'm more interested to watch it. Because to be honest, going into this, I was like, even if it's pretty good, I don't really know that I need to see it because I'm just kind of indifferent and I'm not that, you know, like whatever, it's fine. I don't really need to see it. But now I kind of want to see it because now I want to see what they're going to do because, I mean, again, like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Screw us over how many times now, WB, like, go straight to hell, don't pass go, don't collect $200. I'm trying to overlook that because I see potential here for something that is very entertaining and very Scooby appropriate, in spite of like the things that I already don't kind of love them doing because it's not classic Scooby. I can get past it if they do it right. We had lots of hopes for the reunion special though too, and we know how that turned out. So, and also like, I am not a fan of Greg Berlanti. Don't trust him as far as I can throw him. However, I am trying to remind myself that he did not just do Riverdale and Sabrina, he also did The Flash. And I did very much enjoy the Flash series. I thought it was very well done. So, guys, if you can stay more in the Flash area and less in the Riverdale area, and please, for the love of God, do something about Scooby's ears, then I think maybe this will be okay. Maybe it'll be all right.
Joel, your final thoughts.
Scooby's pretty adorable.
You're all a bunch of traitors.
He is
You want us to hate a
adorable.
puppy?
I didn't say hate him.
Wendy Bridge, certified puppy hater.
Wow. There's only one person who hates puppies here, and it is not Wendy Bridge. Thank you very much.
Hey, we might get Scrappy in this series. You never know.
Well, not right away, because he's too little. If Scooby's a puppy, then Scrappy hasn't been born yet. Calm down, Nikki. It's just temporary. He will eventually be born.
It's too bad. Joel, is that your only thought? Final thought?
Yeah, I don't want to hype myself too much up. I don't know if the series is meant for my demographic. And I also don't want to be the old guy yelling at the cloud either. I'm sure I don't think anything that comes out is going to amaze me, but I think if it's fine, it's fine. I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think if they do a good job with it, and I don't want to see a whole lot of relationship stuff and drama between the gang members. I mean, drama, around solving the mystery and other people's drama is fine, but I don't want to see drama between the gang. I don't want to see them trying to get them to not be friends, come between Shaggy and Scooby. I feel like that stuff has been done and played out, and now we just need something that's really good. It keeps the gang intact. They're solving a mystery, and they're enjoying what they're doing, and we get to see an adorable little puppy. He's so cute. He's so cute.
Whatever.
I've got some bad news. They're probably gonna do relationship drama and just general drama. It's probably gonna happen if I had to guess.
I do think that they will do that. I guess my hope is that it's not going to be between the gang members, and it's going to be like other people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But just a reminder that it is okay for people to just be friends. It's
Yes.
fine. It's fine. Can we normalize that? Not
doesn't
everything needs to be about more.
8 episodes of a TV show, they gotta be more than friends.
I'm excited to see what they do. I'm really excited to see how they handle Scooby, and yeah, I hope everyone else is excited too, because this looks so much better than Velma.
Yeah, that's true.
And I can't wait till we talk about it. That's the fun part, is we'll all get to talk about it when it comes out.
Yeah. We are going to wrap things up. Before we do, let everyone know where they can find you on social media. Devin?
You can find me and Chris Farley at a summer camp witnessing a supernatural murder.
Wendy?
Instagram, I'm at Wendy Bridge. Twitter, Wendy Loves Jesus. And my blog is wendylovesjesus.wordpress.com. And I may be making a trip to the Nottingham or Notting Hill puppy farm to arrange for some cropping. Not really. I wouldn't.
Sure.
You can find me on YouTube. Just type in Planet Scooby.
And you can find all my links on ScoobyAddicts.com. Let us know your thoughts on Scooby-Doo Origins. Are you excited? Are you liking the cast? Are you excited about how cute Scooby-Doo is? And thank you for joining us for another Scooby panel.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another Scooby panel. I'm Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com. If you like these panels, please subscribe to my channel for more great discussions. A huge shout out to our patrons, Julie Rosen, Ross from ScoobyFan.net, Tagus, Garrett Spencer, Paul the Scooby Dude, and Jesse. If you would like to support the Scooby panel, please go to patreon.com/ScoobyAddicts. A very special thank you to artist, blogger, and Scooby collector Wendy Bridge, Joel from Planet Scooby, and miniature artist Devin Smith. Scooby Panel is available in podcast form on most podcast platforms or as a web series on YouTube. You can find Scooby Panel on Instagram, Facebook, and X as @Scooby Panel. We are part of the Collector's Maze Network, where you can find all things geek. Scooby and Shaggy were voiced by Scott Innes. Check out Scott's website, onescottshop.com. ScoobyAddicts artwork by Will Davenport. Scooby Panel logo by Garrett Spencer. Video editing by Nikki Blake. Please join us next time for another Scooby Panel.